Pisces. How are you guys? Welcome to New World Angel and welcome to your first half of 2026 tarot reading. So we're gonna start with the zodiacal 2026, beginning in April, denoting Aries, and then we get into May, Taurus, June for Gemini, Cancer for July, Leo for August, and then we'll end off with September in Virgo. So I'm going to pull 3 tarot cards for each month. I'm not going to clarify. This won't be an extended reading. And then I'm also going to do a philosopher's deck pull so that you can come back to this reading and generally just have... it's a way, well, first of all, it's a way that you can journal off of this message, but I want it to connect back to this reading so that you can recall, certain messages that you pick up today. Like I've been saying to every sign, take these messages. If they resonate, don't try to make anything fit. Sometimes my messages, because they are current and future readings, they won't actually resonate with you until you've actually lived through some of this stuff and you can come back with a greater perspective of how things had gone down. So I'm suggesting that people come back, maybe like closer to summertime or even in September and relook at this message and see if it actually doesn't resonate with you in a different way. Also, you're going to want to check out your, what are we on? We're on Pisces. So if Pisces is your sun sign, you may want to find out what your moon and rising signs are if this message doesn't resonate with you. Or even if it does, just so you can get like a wider view of some of the energies that can be playing out. So if you don't know what your moon and rising signs are, head over to newworldangel.com and under the education tab, I have a link to a free birth chart where you can figure out what your moon and rising signs are. It's free, and it's super helpful, if you're gonna look at other tarot readers, other horoscopes too. So definitely check that out and look into the messages of those signs as well. All right, so what can Pisces, our dear Pisces collective, expect for the first half of 2026? Let's give us a good message here. Pisces naturally deals with more shadowy aspects, more dreamy, certainly with the astrological transits now, Pluto in Pisces, it can be very sort of confusing. It can be a confusing time right now. And so, especially if Pisces is your sun or rising, or even if it's your, well, it doesn't matter where Pisces is in your chart. This is affecting everyone. So let's give Pisces some clarity and foresight on the beginning of 2026. Give us a good message. Okay, what might shift if the next time something negative appeared in my external reality, I paused to contemplate my role in creating the circumstance? I'll read it again. What might shift if the next time something negative appeared in my external reality, I paused to contemplate my role in creating the circumstance? And so reflecting on what role you may have played, that doesn't mean being a martyr and taking the blame for it, but just taking a more internalized approach to the situation and how you may have contributed in a small or big fashion. Just to have some inner reflection. And, what might shift? You might operate differently, seeing things from a different perspective. It's giving me the Hanged Man in tarot, where he takes a pause to flip upside down to try to get himself out of confusion and to see things from a different perspective. It is Pluto and Uranus energy. You may see things from a completely different angle, and then you might approach things from a completely different headspace and response pattern. That is growth. Okay, we like it. Let us begin with Tarot of Opposites. All right, so Pisces, what can Pisces expect in April? And we want this to be one continuous storyline. So the most prevalent and helpful storyline for my Pisces collective in 2026. The messages that are going to be most helpful and the storyline that's most helpful. And hopefully by the end, we will have reached some sort of resolution on this. But like I always say, even though this is current and future energy, the past will always have an inevitable pull and always find its way in, because we're never completely over the past. You may heal, but there's always energies and essences of past circumstances that have led you to where you are. That's just the nature of life. So don't be surprised if any past energy shows up. But what does Pisces have going on in April? We want April. Page of Cups. Receiving your flowers, trying something new, approaching something from a new angle. Possibly a focus on children. Like making sure they get what they need. And then Page of Wands in the reverse. Whatever you were like emotionally tied to in April, it's not really leading you. There's some sort of conflict. Maybe your children are even. If you have multiple children and one's more like emotional and the other one is, a little bit more fiery, I can see them sort of butting heads. But this can just be in your world. I think whatever actions you took in the past, possibly as it relates to children, it's not taking off. It's not leading you anywhere fruitful. It's actually setting you, it's giving you a pause, concern even. And it's making you take a step back. Three of Wands. Yeah, it's not bringing in what you thought it was going to bring in for you. Like whether that was a certain direction you wanted to head in, or a certain role. It's kind of like a standoff is what I get here. Sorry, I'm looking through this deck because I know one card is upside down. It's going to drive me nuts until I find it. But yeah. Only because we have 2 pages out here. If there is a situation where there are twin boys in your world, doesn't have to be boys, but like twin children or siblings, one is being one is sort of held in higher, I don't want to say that like you're playing favorites, but one is held in higher regard than the other. That's just sort of what I get. And like, it's almost like waiting for something to happen in regards to this twin situation. I just get, this is very specific. Interesting. Okay, well, to clarify April, maybe we need to get into May. So Spirit, let's start to clear this storyline up for our Pisces collective once we get into May. Or maybe just like the focus on one child in your life seems to be the primary focus, and you sort of feel as though you're not able to focus on the other one, the other child. They don't have to be twins, but I do get like maybe even Irish twins, that sort of thing. And you're just sort of like contemplating maybe how this could play out for them in the future, you know, where one gets more attention than the other. Maybe you're like really focused on the fact that like, you know, there is strong attention given to one of them. At least you're looking at it. What might shift if the next time something negative appeared in my external reality, I paused to contemplate my role in creating the circumstance? Maybe you feel as though because you're, oh, here it is. Yes. Maybe I'm onto something here. Maybe because your focus has been on one child more so than the other one is acting out in some sort of way, and you're beginning to see this. It's starting to show, it's starting to affect them, and maybe they're getting themselves into things that they shouldn't be. That's definitely what I get. Okay, something to keep your eye on. Definitely regarding children, though. All right, what can Pisces expect in May? May for Pisces. Regarding the storyline, we want to keep in line for the storyline. Page of Pentacles, okay. Starting a new project, maybe getting that one child involved a little bit more, having more of a focus on them, greater attention given, possibly. We'll see. May, Taurus, or May, Pisces. Two of Swords. So whatever they said. Something was said. Ooh. That was meant to be a secret. It wasn't meant to be exposed, and it's kind of leading to maybe they, you know how kids operate where they just sort of like, they're just so innocent that like they just say what's on their mind. And I get that this child may have said something to you, and it's kind of like creating a little bit, like it's kind of stirred you up a little bit. or at least it's bringing about like a level of, maybe it's exposing something. It's exposing the bigger issue. Ooh. 10 of Cups. Yeah. It's sort of exposing where your where your emotions, sort of like where you put all of your good intentions, you know? I believe that this is whatever's happening for you in spring. It's giving you pause for like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have left this child to their own devices. And like I should have placed a bigger importance on family. It's definitely causing like an upheaval for family. Is this for June? This is for June. Something's happening with finances and a home, like foundation stability in June. Something's being taken away from you because of what this child said. Resources are being taken away from you. Child support? Possibly? I mean, it's stirring up family dynamics, and like then it's going to, I don't want to scare you, but it's affecting the foundation, and somehow like money is tied to it too. So maybe this child, the one that like didn't have as much focus placed on them, is getting wrapped up in something they shouldn't financially. As an example, and I'm not saying, like I said, this is a specific reading. As an example, and this is not to freak you out, you know, like maybe one child requires more attention than the other one for whatever reason, health reasons, you know? And so left to their own devices and a lot more time on their hands, especially if this child is somewhat older too, where they can not completely, be left alone, but they had enough time to get themselves wrapped up with potentially people that weren't good for them. And as an example, right, of like things getting sort of like chaos sort of swirling in your world from like a foundational standpoint, and resources being taken away can be like child support, you know? Maybe they get hurt, and or they get wrapped up with the law in some sort of way. I don't see that here, but I do see something that they said revealed something that they were doing financially. So perhaps how they were even making money. Maybe what you thought was like an innocent job that they were going to turned into something, you know, not good for them. Or like the people that they were surrounding themselves with got them wrapped up into something. That could totally be it. But I don't want to scare you. It doesn't have to be as big as that. I'm just saying that like there is a change afoot with family and finances and foundation, for sure. In June, so the conversation will begin in April, and then May things start to really sort of flare up, and then change is afoot. You start to see like the actual 3D product of this come June. What else in June for Pisces regarding this? Possibly moving. Losing a job could even be it too. I hope that's not the case for you, collective, but that could be. Like June, Pisces, June, Pisces. Five of Pentacles. That's 10 of Pentacles plus the 5 of Pentacles, 15. I kind of get that this is child support oriented or some sort of job. Because now this woman is like sort of wanting a handout. Yeah, something's gonna rock your foundation to where it changes the way you live, how you spend, even like fiscal responsibility. And Spirit is like asking you to pause instead of projecting, like, you know, everyone's against me. You need to start asking, like, what role did you play in order for this outcome to happen? Yeah. You're gonna kind of feel like shipwrecked, like, oh, this is heavy energy. Kind of at a loss of direction. You're like, now what do I do? Maybe this shakeup is just totally, it happens so quickly and you never saw it coming that it kind of leaves you like at a loss for words, a loss for what to do, a loss for how to sort of recoup and get back on your feet. Definitely regarding money, can be a change in jobs or just a change in how money was coming in. You know, maybe this child was actually like providing a level of support. I hope not, because that is so much for a child to take on, but quite possibly, you know, they could, me for instance, growing up, I know it's not like I completely didn't receive support at all from my family monetarily, but I definitely provided for myself a lot. And if my family had needed it, if we were in that dire of circumstances, I would have helped. But in this sort of situation, it kind of seems like they were like an integral part to your stability. Like, it's like almost one of your children sort of played like, I don't want to say like a spousal role, but maybe you put a level of responsibility on this child that you really depended upon. And now that it's being uncovered and it probably wasn't, you know, it wasn't something that they should have been doing in the first place. You know, like you shouldn't put all of your eggs in the basket of a child. And I'm not saying that you are. This is an example. Okay. So then what's going on for Pisces in July regarding this situation? The Devil. Yeah, you were dependent upon this, and like in your mind you're like, it's not bad. I kind of feel like you were talking yourself out of it the entire time. Like, this isn't a bad thing. No, they're could be drug related too. You know, maybe you had them. Two of Wands. Oh, wait. I'm going to keep this card, but I wanted to switch decks once I got into the second part. Yeah, this is going to be a struggle for you to deal with. You feel like it's an uphill battle. and that you don't have the things that you need to do what you want. Pisces for July is what we're asking for in this storyline, Spirit. What does Pisces need to know about what's coming for them in July? Yeah, you're trying to get your footing. I mean, look at this guy. It's two of wands in reverse. It's not leading you forward. It's actually taking you backwards, and you're trying to gain your footing. Well, we can tell you that projection is not the right way to go. People don't want to hear excuses. You're going to have to do something different. July. Pisces. Definitely regarding a home. Aquarius energy. Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle to try and heal this situation. I don't know. I kind of feel like your reputation is on the line here. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely regarding your children. I mean, Queen of Pentacles. It's like you were supposed to usher them in the right way, and maybe you even did, and they still did something, completely opposite of what you wanted them to do. But because you didn't ask questions and you just saw the money coming in, you felt like everything was fine. Like you kind of looked the other way. You're like, so long as the funds are coming in, I guess it's all right. But you didn't really ask a whole lot of questions. So you're saying like, I didn't know. And it's like, you didn't ask where this influx of money was coming from. Pisces. Yeah. You feel like you have to work double time, and maybe you do. Maybe it's like you have to work overtime to correct this situation. Yes, absolutely. This is regarding the work that you do, who you collaborate with, how you go about your business. Again, Two of Wands. It's asking you, it's going to July, and I'm sorry this is such heavy energy. It's just, I am a reflection of my collective, and I do think this is a very specific message, so it's not for everyone. So that being said, if this doesn't already resonate with you and your storyline, and you don't even have children, move on to your moon and rising sign, seriously, because this definitely involves children. But yeah, you're going to have to reconsider how you go about making your money. And maybe that even means taking a pay cut just so that you have money coming in. If you do get fired or your child loses their job and now it's your turn to step up in some sort of way, and you feel as though, you should be living in a certain lifestyle, maybe this is requiring you to take a step back, humble yourself a little bit, and actually just get a job that pays money, that brings money in, so that you can, do something so you can provide for them. That's just sort of what I'm getting. So then what happens in August for Pisces? You're definitely trying to fight this, and that's going to be an uphill battle. Contend what's happening here. We have Page of Wands, Sort of seeing the direction things are heading in. August. It doesn't look good. I'm so sorry. This is causing you to transform the situation. Like, you are full steam ahead into something transformative. This can't be stopped. Like, it's coming for your situation no matter what. Your life is going to look and feel differently. It's a Scorpio energy, death, rebirth, finances, other people's money. Sort of it can relate to like the underbelly of, like if they did get involved in drugs or whatever and were selling them, that can totally, and it's being uncovered. It's like, that can totally be a transformation of your life. Like, what if the kids are taken away from you? I'm not trying to scare you, because that totally might not be the situation. It can be something a little bit smaller than that sort of like, wakes you up and you're like, holy crap, I didn't know that they were getting involved in that. So it doesn't have to be like this involved. But, it's just sort of the feeling that I get is like, you kind of feel like this is no bueno for your situation. Yeah, it's causing you an imbalance. It's causing you to actually balance your finances, like be fiscally responsible, know how to appropriate your funds. So if you have just a little bit left in your account and you're in between jobs, it's causing you to really hold restraint and to be just responsible about where you invest your money, and it's all about, like, at this point, it's all about like your foundation, housing, food, just requirements that your kids need. If there are health issues there, then like placing a focus on that, so it can mean a lot of things, but that's what's coming in August, is like the actual transformation of it. So then let's round this out for Pisces in September. What can Pisces expect in regards to this storyline in September? Yeah, it's a transformation in how you get your money. So if you were getting it from this child or from child support even, maybe there's a change in the contractual obligations as it pertains to child support. Whatever it is, you feel like it's just totally like, you feel like, oh, this was not like, you just don't feel awesome about it. There's going to be a need to allow this transformation to happen, because it's an uphill battle and it doesn't seem as though you have the time, energy, or funds to fight this the way that, you may want to. What's going on for Pisces in September? The Devil. Temptation. Capricorn energy. Yeah. This is about your work and your reputation. I almost get like, how, your perception, like how people will see you. the things that you were associated with, and maybe you weren't even aware that you were associated with, but by way of your children exposing the situation, it then sort of shows the attachments there, or the negative attachments at that. Drugs can certainly be a part of that. A little bit of obsession. Yeah, and how you're going to have to like walk away from that. Like, not defeat, but like you're going to have to give it up. Whatever you were doing in the, yeah, and not only are you going to have to give it up and walk away from whatever was going on here, but there's restitution involved. Payback. And evening out. The Six of Pentacles is giving back to those. So even if stolen finances were a part of, you know, the way you or your child operated, then just know that the time for this to be uncovered and things to transform and change and balance out is coming, and it will happen this summer. But the only way for, and it could even be, you know, like, I hate to say it, but like, I've known friends in the past whose family members and parents were addicted to substances, and it's almost like their children got jobs and, you know, did the best that they could to not only support themselves but also support the habits of their mother or father. And perhaps that's what's going on with you too. You're going to have to quit whatever you were doing. And it's time to give back. It's time for balancing. I kind of love how this ended in September. Is like, it ended with equal give and take. So if more time, energy, and attention was given to one child, you know, the focus will be on the other child for the right reasons, you know. Maybe they even got addicted to something. I hope not, but whatever the case was, it wasn't in the best interests of everyone here, and it's being exposed. Yeah. Family roots. Maybe even this was something that you as a child were expected to do too. And then that just carried on to your children. I don't know why I'm still shuffling this, because I'm not, I am not doing an extended reading on these, and I'm not clarifying. So, collective, I hope this was helpful. I know it wasn't the lightest message, but it is a message nonetheless of what is to come. So if you have any ability to get in front of this and rectify the situation before it does totally rock your entire world, I would say, I mean, the time was like forever ago, but certainly the time is now to do that. So with that, I do hope that everyone is okay and gets the help and attention that they need. Kind of seems like this was, it needed to be uncovered. Yeah, it needed to be uncovered so people can heal, so things can level out, and people can get the help that they need, is what I get to. So with that, I love you guys. Take care. And don't forget to check out your moon and rising signs if this did not resonate with you. Although, if you're listening to me at the very end, then there's something about it that did seem to resonate with you, or maybe somebody in your life. So, in that sort of way, do what you can to help the situation, but do something sooner rather than later before things happen out of your control. So I love you guys. Take care, and I will see you at the next reading. Bye.